in this video I want to do a care tutorial for phalaenopsis orchid keikis, and most exactly I will explain to you how to grow phalaenopsis keikis after you detach them from the mother plant. So I will do this video in 11 steps. They are super easy to follow, and you will see that you will have great success. So the first one would be that you need to make sure that the keiki has at least 10 centimeters in total length of roots. That would mean that all the separate roots have in total 10 centimeters. This is because at that time the orchid will be able to absorb enough moisture, and she will grow very well and fast for you. Here I have a keiki that has been detached, this one, the bigger one, from the mother plant 2 weeks ago, and here as well, and the other ones that are a bit more tiny have been detached about 1 week ago. And now I will try to actually show to you how the roots look like of each individual one. So we can see that I have used green moss, and the roots have pretty much attached to the moss. They look quite nice. The roots have a pretty good size. When I have removed them, they were about here, so they were actually a bit smaller than I said to you you should, but we can see also that because they have so much moisture, we have little hairs somewhere in here on the roots, so they are very happy. And now I will try to show to you how the smaller ones look like. By the way, these are keikis from my phalaenopsis magic art. This one is actually super tiny. We can see that the root is very small. When I have removed it, it was about this long, and now it is growing this tip, which we can see that is getting quite hairy. These little hairs appear on orchid roots when they are in the presence of quite a bit of moisture, and they absolutely love that. I will show to you now even a smaller one. Here we go. It has very tiny roots. This didn't yet make the little hairs, but I think they look quite pretty. A very important thing that you can most probably see it is that on the wound I did not apply cinnamon. This is because the stem of the orchid is very small, and very close to the supposedly wound she needs to grow roots, and if you are placing their cinnamon, that would dry all the area, and the little keiki won't be able to push up roots from that specific place. So the second step would be that after you remove the orchid keiki, you spray the wound with hydrogen peroxide 3%. This will pretty much sterilize the wound, and it is a very good antifungal agent, this hydrogen peroxide, so the orchid should be safe that way. It is no need to put cinnamon in there. The third step would be that you need to take a transparent cup, as you are seeing right here, and to place inside it some moist green moss or dry moss if you don't have green one. You can see that here I have used dried one, and on these two I have used green one. I use whatever I have. And this moss has antifungal and antibacterial properties. The fourth step would be that you need to place the keiki roots inside the moss, leaving about ½ centimeters water on the bottom of the cup, like you are seeing pretty much right now. And you need to make sure that the bottom part of the stem is not buried underneath any moss, because that would make the base of the plant too wet, and too much moisture can cause stem rot, and that is pretty much how I avoid it. If these orchids were to have any stem rot because I didn't sterilize or I didn't put cinnamon on the wound, it would have appeared already, because I have 1 to 2 weeks since they are sitting like this. Okay, the fifth step would be that when the moss gets only slightly moist, meaning that it is starting to dry, you need to refresh the water and pretty much water the little orchid again. Then you need to give them about 100 ppm of fertilizer, and you need to make sure that your fertilizer has calcium in it as well, because calcium helps a lot the orchid, and you will make sure that the roots have what they need to grow very well and fast. Calcium helps the orchid to produce cells, and the roots absolutely love calcium and magnesium actually as well. You need to fertilize the orchid every time you water it with this amount of fertilizer, 100 ppm. Then once about 10 days you will need to flush the orchid with plain distilled water or rainwater or whatever water you have that has very low concentration of minerals. And what I do it is I fill up the cup with water, leave it there for 10 minutes, then I get the water out, and that is pretty much all. It's super easy. Then the ninth step, it is that you need to give them a temperature between 20 and 28 Celsius. I would not put these little keikis in higher temperatures than that, because they are quite fragile. And the 10th step would be that you need to make sure that they receive plenty of dappled indirect sunlight. This will make sure the orchid grows very nicely. We can see that, for example, this keiki in here, let me take it out as well, is growing quite fast, and it really loves the sunlight that I am giving it. It is a young keiki, but the leaves are growing quite fast and wider and wider. How long these roots are? So there you go, this is what happens. The roots are quite happy in the environment they are in. I planted this one together with the mother plant because they are both in moss. The mother plant doesn't have a good root system. This is how I have received it, and soon after it arrived in my care, it started to produce this keiki, and now they are sitting in moss together. I will arrange them properly after the video ends. Alright, let's see. And the last step it is that once the roots are pretty long, about 20 to 30 centimeters long, you can put them on your preferred medium. Of course, I will use a semi-hydro because that is the method of culture that I use, but you can use whatever you would like, even water culture, whatever pleases you, let's say. And yeah, you can see it is super easy. I never pretty much get keikis to die after I detach them, because I offer them this care and they do seem to love it. I don't like to leave the keikis for too long on the stem of the orchid, on the spike, let's say, of the orchid, because that is draining quite a lot of energy from the mother plant. So if the keiki can support itself through the little roots, even if they are this long, I will be more than happy. The leaves grow really well, the roots as well, so we don't have any reason to drain the energy from the mother plant. So right guys, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below. I will be more than happy to answer them for you. You can see that lately I am responding a bit harder, let's say, to the questions. This is because I am super busy, but eventually I do get to respond to all your questions, so no worries for that. Thank you very much for watching and see you all next time. Bye!